Just a quick disclaimer before viewing. In the process of this code reveal and Illuminati breakdown, looking for the conspiracy, I myself have confused Sebi for Sebi and Sebi for Sebi. The Gematria does not change. I recommend that everybody view and listen with great care. Rest in peace and amen, everybody. Okay, everybody, I'm going to be doing a breakdown today. I've been sleeping on the Nipsey Hussle reveal. This is pretty much going to be a massive, very involved code that I'm going to try my very hardest to walk you all through and get you at a pace to where you can see what I've discovered, so that we can try to process if this is, a conspiracy, if there's a conspiracy, if there's something darker and deeper going on within. So with that said, before we get into this, I understand that this is a very sensitive subject matter for friends, for family, for fans, for the whole world alike. I understand that this is greater than Nipsey Hussle, greater than Bloods and Crips. I know that this is a super deep, very sensitive subject matter. On the surface level, it appears as just another violent act that's being shown to us via our Fox Entertainment. But when you actually break it down and we look at it for what it is, and you have an understanding of theology, and you have an understanding of entomology, and you have an understanding of the factions, the angels, the Nephilim, the Lord's hosts, this is just so great. And it's not as in good. This is just greatly vast. And I believe that it's important in my duty to try to get people to see what's like going on behind the scenes on a deeper, darker level. So with that said, before we get into this, I want to give a prayer. My Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. God, my Father, my almighty Creator, please guide over us as we touch on such a sensitive matter, on things that we do not know, only things that we are trying to understand. I understand that I am just the mind of a mere man. I am mortal. I do sin. Please anoint this councilship and help us to reveal what's needed to be seen. In your name. And rest in peace, Nipsey. Rest in peace. Thank you for all your hard work. Okay. Okay, so swing around. Now, first things first, I need to explain a little bit of the tools and the methodology that our handlers use in putting their work together. Okay, so this here is a very simple formula. 1 through 9 is a breakdown, which I find that they use. So with this 1 through 9, you just take the alphabet and run it through. You'll see that the 6 is Fox 3 times. So that's our first sight to let us know that they are the beast, and let's see what they do. Okay, so Ermias is Nipsey, and Ermias is Gematria. His value is an 11. Moving straight down from first name to last name, his bloodline, Ashkadum, is a 9. Okay? Now, Ermias Ashtagam is Nipsey Hussle. So Nipsey, his Gematria is an 8. Hussle, his Gematria is a 3. The 8 and the 3 combo is 11. Nipsey Hussle, who is Nipsey Hussle? The 11. Nipsey Hussle is Ermias, the 11. Everything's beginning to check off. As we move down, Alfred Darrington Bowman. Alfredo Darrington Bowman. Who is this? This is Dr. Sebi, his born name. Dr. Alfredo Darrington Bowman. Alfredo is a perfect 7. 7 represents perfection. Darrington is a 4. 4 represents 2 sets of twins. Bowman is a 5. 5 is Roman numeral V, also twins, confirming that there's twins in his lineage. We're going to break into what the twinning means. Now, Dr. Sebi is the name that Alfred Bowman chose to represent him. And if you look at the gematria value of Sebi, he's an 8. Okay? Now, God, G-O-D, right here, is an 8. Okay? So, Alfred, who was born perfect with twin faction, was a blue-blooded Jesuit, a blue-blooded Nephilim, a Canaanite. understanding the Nephilim and the Canaanite, I need to break this out real quick. The angels and the Dodgers is who I have this described as being. It's a faction of red and blue. It's the Democrats and the Republicans. It's the Civil War. It's the barber pole. It's the Patriots winning the Super Bowl every year. This is what's in front of us, okay? The angels are true blood, God, bloods, eights. They didn't come into the daughters of men. However, the 200 that did, they defiled us and then created the Nephilim, the Jesuits, the Canaanites. These are the Dodgers because they dodged the flood. They were supposed to be wiped out, but they dodged the flood. Now, all doctors, all people in practice of big pharma, they are our handlers. They are the blue-blooded. This is why all cops are either in black or blue. They are the watchers. You'll never see a police officer in red. This is why all big pharma is Blue Shield, Blue Cross, Kaiser Blue Permanente. It's because they are working for the blue bloods. Their job is to keep the blue and the red separated, not together, okay? So when you look at the gematria value of Alfred Darrington Bowman, it shows that he's a blue blood. He's a perfect 7 with twin combos, and I'll show you what this twinning represents. But he chose to not do the work of the Dodgers, of the Nephilim, of the Jesuits, and instead he wanted to do the work of God. This is why he chose to denounce the medication, denounce the blue pills, and be a practitioner of God's herbal compounding. And through compounding his herbs, he proved that you can cure AIDS, lupus, blindness, herpes, diabetes. Look into it. He proves that disease is all one. We all die of one disease, and this is mucus. And he's learned how to clear and cleanse the cells from their very monatomic level. And the way that he's doing this is through herbal compounding, okay? Now, Sebi was arrested on February 10th. Sebi was arrested on the 210, okay? 210. Now, Ermias Ashtegum made it his life's mission to not only bring the Bloods and the Crips together, but to also, a way he was doing this was to reveal Dr. Sebi's work, that he could cure AIDS and bring a cureness to the entire heart of Africa. Now that's massive. That's Gandhi. That's Malcolm X. That's Martin Luther. That's all of three combined. I mean, that is massive, massive. And our handlers, the black and the blue, who watch us and control us, how is this going to work to them when they're the ones who created the AIDS? And AIDS number is 6. They created the 6. They created the AIDS. And they want to give us the blue pill so they can make more money off of it. This is what's going on. So, Alfred Darrington Bowman decided to denounce his role as a Crip and live and work out as a Blood, an 8. And denounce the AIDS, the 6. Denounce the blue pills. Okay? Whereas simultaneously, Ermias Ashtegum, born a Blood, 9/11, denounced, but not denounced it, sort of just worked incognito as a crypt so that he could begin unifying them. When you go and you look at Nipsey Hussle's career, you will see that his entire discography is red. It's predominantly red. Right here on the cover, you see that he's red, representing that he's a 9, a Jesus Christ chakra, 9th ability, your pineal gland, all your Christ abilities. Ashtegum is a 9, representing a Blood. Now, we all know that he was a Crip, but when you go and you look at his work, it's predominantly red, 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 neutral, slightly blue, neutral, red, neutral, neutral, red, neutral, neutral, blue, red, 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 blue. Little touches of red, 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 neutral, 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 red, 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 red. I'm almost done, folks. Neutrality. But you see the story. Yes, there's both colors, but look, it's predominantly 9th chakra, Jesus Christ, angel, Blood. Because he was a true God's child, okay? So, getting back into this to make this all make sense. So, when you do the combination of Ermias Astrodome, it's a 20. Okay? Sebi was arrested on 210. Now 210, what is 20? 20 is 2 tens. 20 is 2 tens. What did Ermias Astrodome do? What did Nipsey Hussle do? He gave his life's work to exposing this court case where Dr. Sebi proved in the court of law that he can cure AIDS. Put his hand on the Bible and said, I will cure AIDS, and I do not need a lawyer to defend me. He proved himself. He smiled. He was his happiest time in his life when he was arrested on 210. And Ermias wanted to expose the 210. That's why his sub-work combination is a 20, which is 2 tens. Okay? So now, let's move through this a little bit. So our watchers, the black and the blue, the Nephilim, the Jesuits, the Canaanites, they want to control the division, not the unity, the division. This is why I have a dot dividing the cop car bar from red to blue. This is showing the division. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that, because this is their language. They divided us on March 31st. On March 31st was when this division occurred, so let's just divide it and see what happens. And then we'll come back to it and see if it matters, because this is how I do the code. Okay, so on the 3rd month, the 31st day, which happens to be in the constellation of Aries, the watchers and our watchers, the blue and the black, divided us. They divided us. How did they do this? By killing Ermias Astrodome. His murder happened on 3/31. So when you divide the two, because that's what he was doing. Actually, the following day, 4/1, he had a meeting. Nipsey had a meeting with them to talk about how he plans to bring these two gangs together and unify them. And the very day beforehand, they say, sorry, no, that's not going to be acceptable. And they took him out. And so now when we divide these numbers, you get 10.3 infinite. 3 infinite. 3 infinite. Your calculator will show you 7 threes. 7 threes is perfect infinites for them. So 10 running infinite. Now we have all these threes. 33 happens to be Ermias was 33 when he died. 33 happens to be Sebi when he was born, 1933. 33 happens to be 6 shots that Ermias suffered. 3 happens to be 3 other people, including Ermias, killed. Total of 3 people shot, 3 people shot. 6 bullets to Ermias on his 33rd year of life. And why did he die? Because he was presenting the case of Sebi on the 10. The 10. Okay? So, when you take Ermias Astrodome, he's a 33. Okay? And where did he work? Marathon. So Nipsey Hussle owned Marathon, okay? And Marathon backwards, because the reverse perversal is the way that these sodomites work. Sodomy is to take it in from the back end, to take it in from behind. And so we look at it backwards. Marathon backwards is no heat or no hate to the ram. And the ram is Capricorn, the constellation that directly defends Saturn, okay? Capricorn is the goat head. That's why the Capricorn, the ram, is the Aries. It's the same animal. It's the horned beast. So on the 3/31, the day of Aries, our handlers, one day before the meeting, which was going to bring the two together, said no. And on the day of Aries, they said no heat, no hate to the ram. So they took out the owner of Marathon, who was planning on turning the Marathon into a smart project where he was going to bring Crips and Bloods into the building to live together, where they were going to use Wolfram Alpha, a technology in this building. Look it up for yourself. When you look at the actual words of Wolfram in it, you find Marathon. I'll show this to you separately. Wolfram Alpha is Marathon. Marathon backwards is no hate to the ram. The ram is because he was hating on them by trying to bring them together when they wanted to keep us separated, is why they set this up for him passing, representing his age 33, the why he died for the 1933 in the day of Aries. And that's why you got 33s running infinite. He was 33, proposing the case and the cause for 1933. He was shot 6 times, 3 other people. 7 is perfect because this is they erased this God child. Satan wants to erase all of God's work. That's his perfect, infinite perfection. Who did they send in to do this work? Eric Holder. When you look up Eric's Gematria value is an 8 and Holder is an 8. So this is 2 kings. The 2 kings is showing you the faction between 69, which is as above, so below. Pointing down, pointing up. One representing God, one representing Satan. And both these kings, in this case, Eric represents everlasting king. Everlasting is infinity. The everlasting king will be sent in on the 1033 running infinite to do this perfect crime for Satan, which is the division of the 3 and the 31. March 31st divided equals 10.3 running infinite. And your calculator screen will show you 7, the number of perfection, perfect infinites. So they send in the everlasting king, who is also the king of land. Who is the king of land? Your landlord, who you pay at the end of each month. The landlord is the Elohim. The owner of this land is the king of land, is Satan. The kingdom of heaven is God. You want to give all of your authority to the land, or do you want to give it to heaven? Eric Holder did the work for the land, the landlord. The 2 kings, running infinite, came in on the day of Aries to eliminate the heat that has been brought on to the ram, Capricorn. And so it defended the 6th planet. It defended the 6 aids. It defended blue blood. Alfred Bowman should have been doing blue blood work and feeding us blue pills brought by the Blue Shield, the Blue Cross, Blue Kaiser Permanente, but instead denounced his blue blood and knew that he had the power given to him by God Almighty through herbal compounding to eliminate this 6, to eliminate the AIDS, okay? Now, Sebi was arrested on 210. Okay, so 20 is the combination of Ramias Ashtigan, which is 210, and he gave his work to the 210. He gave his work to the bringing together of the Bloods and the Crips. Now, Dr. Sebi died when he was 82 years old, okay? 82 years old. If you look up the longitude of Marathon, it is 118.3320. Let's look at this. The reason I want to look at this is if you look up the root etymological breakdown, the meaning of the word long, it means to soon die, as to not be long of this earth, to soon die. So longitude represents death, okay? And now right here, the longitude of Marathon is 118.3320. What is 8 plus 2? 82. How old was Sebi when he died? 82. Okay? 0.3320. How old was Nipsey when he passed? 33. It's right there. And why did he pass? Because he gave his life's work to 2 tens, which is the 20. 2 tens. One for Sebi's incarceration, and then one for his putting his work into it. 2 tens. 210. 210. February 10 is the arrest date. 20 is 2 tens. 33 for Ramias, 82 for Sebi. This is on longitude. Now, if we look at latitude, latitude is more or less, if this is like longitudinal is death, then I wonder if latitude would be representative of life. Let's look. We have a 9, we have an 8, and we have an 8, okay? So, 9 is the Christ abilities, 8 is God, and then it gives us it gives us 0.666 repeating. We'll give you 988.7, okay? That's what it says that it is. 33,988.7. But if you actually look at it in your screen, it's 0.6669, which rounds up to the 7. So right here you have the 666 code right in front of you. Now, this is so huge. Nipsey's last dying message on
Facebook was at 2:52, okay? And he was pronounced dead at 3:55. That isn't exactly 63 minutes that have passed. 63 is 6, 6, 6, 3 sixes. So how is it that he passed? How is it that there are perfect 63 minutes, 666, between his last living message and his being pronounced dead? That same 666 is right here in his latitude. It's like he was born under this, because he was supposed to do their work. And he said, no, I'm not a blue blood. I'm not a freaking Jesuit. I'm going to bring these factions together. And so on the latitude of his business, go look. Go look. Just type it in. Marathon, clothing, Google Earth, latitude 33988.7. Or, more correctly, 33988.6669. Longitude 118.3320. The birth and death dates and everything are right there. So now, Sebi his death was 8/6 of 2016. 8 is a God's number, because 8 is God. It represents the value of God, and 6 represents the value of Satan. So there's your duality again. There's the duality of the 2. There's the duality of the 2. There's the duality of the 2. So between his last post at 2:52 and his pronounced dead at 3:55, that's exactly 63 minutes, which is 3/6. And if you add 6 and 3, it's 9. So at 3:55, not only was he pronounced dead, giving 666, 3 sixes, but it's also the death of Christ, because it's the death of the 9. And the death of the 9 is just a full circle confirmation, as Ashtagam was a 9, Christ's child. Lastly, now that we're sort of making another full circle, understanding that 3420 West Slauson is the address of Marathon. W represents 6, as it's 2 V's, 2 Vavs. The W is the 6, represents the L. The Elohim represents these first angels, and these angels that came into these angels and made all of this. So the Elohim, our handlers, perfectly divided the 20. 3 and 4 is 7. Divides 20 is 2 tens. This perfect division. He gave a life to a 10. He gave a life to a 10. And when you add the sum total of this, it again gives you your 9. So the W, or Elohim, are going to divide the slave sons in the name of Christ. We are the sons. We are the slaves. And 3420 is West Slauson Street. Remember, U and a V are the same letter. So it's the slave sons. Marathon was placed at this address. These latitudes, this longitude, it's all synchronized. Like, how on earth is it possible? Unless we're sleeping. So the question is, are we woke? If I'm seeing this, have I woke? Because people be walking around talking they woke. And I don't think nobody sees none of this. So I think we need to change the expression. We're going to call it I'm yoke. Because in order to make an omelet, you got to break an egg. In order to break out, I got to crack my pineal. I got to get into my 9th ability. Jesus Christ, I got to see this. So stop walking around saying everybody's woke. Let's get an amen. Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. And your work, guess what? It is continuing on. Everybody's coming together. Your vigil, everything has been beautiful. And it is continuing. The music, the albums that are going to come, you will live on forever. Amen. And let's just see what happens.
All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and show you all of my screen sites so that you can see where I'm gathering all of my information, so that you can see that this is actually, this is a real thing. I'm not just making this up as I go. All right, so here we go. The root origin name meaning for Ermias is God will rise. Name meaning for the root origin of Ashkenagum is a gift of God. Gift of God, God will rise. God will rise. Gift of God. Okay? Now Sebi is Alfredo Bowman. Now Bowman, root origin, is someone who untangles wool with a bow. Okay? Originally from Italy, Rome. Now, someone who untangles wool, okay, so understand that Sebi is here as a worker of God, giving us the truth on how to heal ourselves and cure ourselves of all disease.
proving that all disease are one disease, mucus, which he could remove by compounding herbs given to us through all facts he found in the Bible. And he proved this all in court. This is why Nipsey was doing a documentary on this case. And here it says that Bowman is somebody who uses a bow to vibrate the strings and untangle the wool. Okay? So we are the lambs. We are the lambs of Christ. You know, we are the sons of God, you know, and referred to as lamb. And here he is as a doctor who wants to untangle us as such. Now you have to understand, though, that all pharmacopoeia, all hospitals, they are of the blue-blooded faction. They are the Nephilim that dodged the deluge. They are the Dodgers. Bowman was placed here to be a practitioner of medicine, making him a blue blood. And I most certain guarantee he was, because when you look at his value, you see the twinage. And the twinage is always going back to Roman. So when the 5 is a twin, Alfred is perfect. The sum total of his name is perfection. And the 5 and the 4, his middle name being a 4, is showing 2 generations of twin. And Bowman is being a twin. He was most likely blue-blooded. That's why he got to be a doctor in the first place. Our handlers are all Jesuit. They're all Nephilim. They're all Canaanite. They're all Dodgers. This is why the police wear black and blue. You don't ever see a police officer in red. Never, okay? So Bowman was a doctor. He was blue blood. But what did he do? Did he give us the blue pills? Or did he give us the herbal remedy held up in the court of law? Did he give us these? The Truvada? The blue pills? Look at what Truvada is right in your face. It's a 6 divided by a 9. And as above, pointing down below. This is the 6-9 duality between Christ and the fallen angel Satan. 5 is twins. Twins is the duality between the 6 and the 9. The duality between our Father, the 8, and their perfect plan is to split these two, to split the faction. This is the division of the 11. And by no coincidence, Ermias is an 11. And by no coincidence, when you add Ermias' sole work, his street name being Hussle is also the 11. We've already got into that, and I'll break that down again. Truvada, if you put the mirror on this twin flame right here, it's true Abba. And the V is I'm attached to my true Father. I should have been. Sebi gave me the cures, but instead they pushed the lie. He chose not to, and he surrendered his life for it. Root origin of the name Eric, he is everlasting, eternal, alone, unique, eternal ruler, ever powerful, aristocrat, sole ruler, king, powerful, rich. This is all the words of a landowner, all the words of the Lord of Satan. That's for Eric. And by no coincidence is his last name Holder, also holder, somebody who holds the land for either animals or landholder. Landholder, used as the landholder. The king, heraldry, king, where's king? It's all in here. You just do a little bit of work and you'll all see it. This is the story. Eric Holder is the landlord, the landkeeper. Landlord is the Elohim. The Elohim, the Elohim are the Dodgers. They are the Lord's angels who turned into us and created the Nephilim, the Nuph. That's another chapter. And dodged the deluge. Now here, Eric Holder has been sent as a blue blood to do the work for this faction. And if you look at his Gematria, which we're going to get back on this board, he's an 8 and an 8, a double 8, twin flame, which takes you back to the 11. Now the 8 and the 8 is infinite, and that's why it's an infinity sign. Dual kings, 2 kings, king of land, not king of heaven. Lord of land, landlord. So now let's go into Google Earth, and I'm going to take you into here and show you the coordinates for marathon clothing. This is wild. Can't make this shit up, man. I feel like we're in a dream. Because how else is this even happening? Okay, so while I'm on the subject of the root origin of the family crest for Holder, this is wild, man. I can't make this up, okay? The early origins of the Holder family. The surname of Holder was first found in Gloucestershire and other counties and shires in Britain. One of the first records of the name was Robert Lee Holder, who was listed in the Gloucestershire in the 100 Durham Rolls of 1273. So let's look at this 100 Durham Rolls. First of all, it's blue. That's why I kind of wanted to look at it. So now let's just look at it real quick. Remember, the truth is always found in their reversals. So let's just run it backwards. Let's just let's just play the game of sodomy. Sodomites. Murdered, and H. The U, remember, is attachment. And since this is just singular, it's not a W, it's a U, it's just one. So one person was attached to the murder of the NH. To the murder, you always give the last name, the capital, because that's the lineage. Murdered Nipsey Hussle. And how did he do it? He did it, Nipsey Hussle fell on the blue handicapped chair painted on the asphalt, which is its movement is perpetuated through rolling along. So literally, Eric Holder rolled up to murder Nipsey Hussle. Okay, another thing that we need to look at that's in blue is this feudal occupation. Now, the occupation is the encampment. The occupation is the faction of soldiers. So who is feudal? Okay, let's look at it backwards. That's where the truth is always found. The LA, the Dodgers. The Dodgers are the LA or the AL, the L. And the DEU right here is this duality. This duality between the two factions of the Angels and the Dodgers. The F being the sixth letter in the alphabet, falls under the six. So the duality, they're giving their allegiance to the six. The L, the AL, the LA, Blue Dodgers, are giving their allegiance to this duality of God, our Father, and the fallen angel, Satan. They're giving it to the power of the sixth planet from the sun. F is the sixth letter. That's who is occupying. That is who Eric Holder came in working for. So when his value is an 8, he is a double king. He's a 6, 8. The 8 is our father king, and the 6 is the king of the Lord of land. Two occupations, both which represent land. And so he removed our Jesus Christ, number 9. He exalted him of the Lord, and he sent them home, as Ashtagam says, lifted up, exalted by God, risen by God. So now let's go into Google Earth, and I'm going to take you into here and show you the coordinates for marathon clothing. This is wild. Can't make this shit up, man. I feel like we're in a dream. Because how else is this even happening? I'm going to spin on in here. Oh yeah, here's my coordinates right here, okay? 1933. This was when, right here. Okay, look at it. 1933 was when Sebi was born. 33 years old is how old Nipsey was when he died. Nipsey is Ashtagam, a number 9, Jesus Christ, Son of God. Number 9, Christ's abilities. 8 is Nipsey. Nipsey is an 8. It's right here, okay? It's all right here, man. And then the other 8, God versus the 6. And the 6-9 is that duality. So it's here twice just in case you can't see it. So this entire latitude right here in your face is 1933, the year Sebi was born. 33, the age Nipsey passed. He's the number 9. 8 is our father. 8 and our father are being split. This is the duality right here. It's all right there. I just showed it to you. Okay, so, I mean, that's all of that. Now I'm going to go ahead and close all this out. Let's get back into my camera. I'm going to go ahead now and just do a recap on this board. I'm going to try my hardest to keep this super clean and just make a discussion of it rather than me just pointing everything out. I hope this comes together well for everybody, and I appreciate you all paying attention. And again, rest in peace. But by no means do I want this to take away from the importance of what we lost. I mean, we will gain a lot through this. We will. Amen. Trust you that. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to do a recap. I'm going to just try to speak this out so that you can understand the story more or less than me just pointing at numbers and whatnot. So, on the 3rd month, the 31st day, the handlers, our handlers, the black and the blue, the cops are always in black uniforms or blue uniforms because they are the Dodgers, they are the Nephilim, they are the Jesuits, they are the Canaanites, they are our handlers. Okay, so on the 3rd month, the 31st day, they divided us. And in this division, you just simply divide it. This is their narrative. This is their language. You will find a 10.3s running infinite. 10.3s running infinite. The infinites, it all plays in. So 331, they divided us and gave us a 10 to the 3rd running infinite. Now we have 3 players. We have Nipsey Hussle, who is doing God's work, born here, placed here, gematrically speaking, as a gift from God that will be risen up by God to do God's work. And although the street, the music, you know, the hustle, Nipsey Hussle got sucked into, you know, the gang thing and chose to be Crip. But ultimately speaking, I think it was his true design to be Crip, to ultimately bring the two together, because he was here to do the work of God as his Gematria speaks this language. And so when you look at Alfredo Darrington Bowman, Sebi, his Gematria also speaks the language of God. But his language shows the code of the blue bloods, actually. Because what's perfect for them is this twin factor. And twinning is blue-blooded. This is why he was placed to push the blue medicine, the blue shield, the blue cross, Kaiser Blue Permanente. He wanted to give blue medication, serve the blue pills. That was his duty, to serve, to untangle us as the lambs of Christ, untangle us like wool, and feed us blue poison after giving us an AIDS-created 6, a 6 created AIDS. But he knew also that it wasn't in his heart or soul to do such. So he took the words of Christ, the words of God, our Father, and taught us how to cure ourselves through herbal compounding. Now, there's a duality that's being played out, and there's a role reversal, as Nipsey presented himself to be Crip, but did the work of God as a blood, a red, an angel, not a Dodger. Ultimately, it was this way so that he could bring the two factions together. Now, in the same regards, we have Alfred Bowman, who was placed here, born blue-blooded, to serve AIDS to the people so that we can make money off their freaking blue pills. But he decided to say, no, I'm not a Crip. I'm going to do the work of God. And it's all here in the code. I don't think I need to just run through this all again. When you look at Eric Holder, this is something else. Swing around and I'll show you this, because this is something that I didn't include in the last run through. So Eric Holder, our shooter, if you look at his geometric value, he's an 8. Holder is an 8. So he is the infinite, the perfect infinites, which is again 10, 3 running infinite. So the infinity Eric Holder represents an everlasting king or a protector of land for animals and for people. The protector of the land, the king of land. Dual kings. Dual kings is showing you the duality between the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom and the Lord of land. Kingdom of heaven, 9 being perfect Jesus Christ, and the 6 being Saturn, the star, the sun that fell from the sky, Satan. This 6, 9 are these two kings. And AIDS is the 6, but Sebi wanted to serve us the truth, serve us the 9. Yeah, so you get it all. So I wanted to show you the Eric Holder, symbolism, and also, I feel like that's pretty strong. So we'll put it all together for you and see what we get.
So, like, what is your takeaway from this whole Nipsey Hussle case? The whole thing is, like, if you could just put it briefly, like, because everything happens, they do everything for a reason. So if you could put it simply, like, what would that...
I think Nipsey was a voice, and I think he had a platform by which he could use his voice, and he had a powerful reach, a huge reach, and he also had a vision, and he fell into some information, and this information he truly believed, just as Sebi believed, that they could bring cures of AIDS to the whole heart of Africa. You know what I mean? Think about that. Just think about, like, that's so massive. That's Gandhi. That's Martin Luther. That's Malcolm X. That's everything combined. That's huge. He gave his whole life to it. I think that ultimately, when you look at his album covers and everything's red, even though he was known to be a Crip, I think that ultimately it was just his whole life to bring the two factions together. I think that he was, a voice. The code to me is what's wild, man, because are we all asleep? Are we all asleep? And when they say woke, you know what, real quick, I'm going to end on this. I don't want to say woke. I want to say yoke. Because to freaking wake up, we got to break an egg, man. You got to freaking break that pineal. You got to tap in. You got to get away from your TV sets. You can't just wake up. You got to break out. You got to break the yolk. To make an omelet, you got to break an egg. So everybody, I say, stop walking around saying that you woke. I'm going to walk around saying that I'm yoke. Because let's go. So,
all right.